He's an expert on the art of war, and with Ukraine and now Israel in the headlines, it's an all too relevant topic. David Martin is talking with retired General David Petraeus.
This is going to be a very, very tough fight.
Retired General David Petraeus, who commanded America's wars in both Iraq and Afghanistan, knows from experience what Israel is facing in its war against Hamas.
I almost can't imagine a more challenging contextual set of circumstances here than what they face.
Sending an army, even one as powerful as Israel's, into the densely populated neighborhoods of Gaza.
There are tunnels. There will be rooms that will have improvised explosive devices. You have to clear every building, every floor, every room, every basement, every tunnel. Civilian losses are inevitable, and tough Israeli losses lie ahead as well.
Petraeus, along with British historian Andrew Roberts, has just written a book titled Conflict, a word which has come to define the century which began on 9/11.
This is far worse than 9/11.
As horrific as 9/11 was, the October 7th attack on Israel killed a far greater proportion of its much smaller population.
This is the equivalent of the U.S. having experienced over 40,000 losses rather than the 3,000 terrible losses that we sustained in the attacks on 9/11.
On September 11th, it was planes. On October 7th, it was thousands of rockets and fighters, even gliders.
The complexity of what they did was really quite extraordinary.
Were you surprised by the sophistication of the attack?
Yes. Actually, I was more surprised that there just wasn't the awareness of what was being planned.
Petraeus was once director of the CIA and can't understand how both Israeli and American intelligence missed preparations for the attack.
This is a very substantial operation, and the planning of it alone would have been very considerable. But then the training and equipping and positioning of forces, then the actual conduct of it, that all of that could take place and not spark much increased military readiness is really quite stunning.
How do you account for it?
Dramatic improvement in Hamas's operational security, very, very creative use of these munitions and capabilities to degrade dramatically, in some cases knock out, the Israeli ability to see what is going on around this quite formidable iron fence that was established.
At the very least, it would be safe to say that Israel underestimated its enemy.
No question about it.
What do you think Hamas hoped to achieve with this attack?
What their leaders have said was to get the world's attention.
Could the Hamas objective have been as simple as kill Jews?
Oh, well, that's always the objective. Again, destroy Israel.
Hamas killed Jews but didn't destroy Israel. And now Israel has vowed to destroy Hamas.
Tell me how this ends.
If the mission to the Israeli military is to destroy Hamas, if you have to destroy every headquarters, if you have to capture or kill the bulk of the leaders, if you have to do the same with the bulk of these terrorist fighters, the question is then, what do you do with Gaza once you retake it? You can't walk away from Gaza.
If Hamas is destroyed, there will be a power vacuum in Gaza, which Israel can't ignore.
This is a very tough decision if you're going to have to reoccupy and administer Gaza again, because clearly you can't go in, destroy the Hamas infrastructure, and then leave, because, again, they will reconstitute themselves.
And what happens to the people of Gaza?
Well, they're going to suffer, and the Hamas has brought this on them.
We stand with Israel.
President Biden has promised to back Israel to the hilt, sending 2 aircraft carrier strike groups off the coast, as well as flying in fresh stocks of munitions. And with its own invasion of Iraq, the U.S. has also left Israel with an object lesson in the perils of overreacting to a terrorist attack.
We've made mistakes, which is what happens when a nation gets its blood up. Israel certainly has its blood up now.
There should be a cautionary tale from our experiences in the wake of the 9/11 attacks. Some of the actions that we took, we look at differently now, and there will come a time where some of the actions that will be taken by Israel will be looked at in a different way as well. I actually think that there is a consciousness of this in Jerusalem.